Good morning and welcome to Moxi Monday. Today we are going to go back into Moxi Impress again, our marketing center, and I'm going to show you how to add a batch of content. Now, if you remember, last week we added a single project. Today we're going to add a whole batch of projects. So here we are at mycbdesk.com, and this is where you're going to log in using your brand ID, which is firstname.lastname @ColdwellBanker. We're going to launch our Moxi Works application. Takes you to your roster here. If you give it a second, this blue bar shows up at the top, and then you can access any of your Moxi tools. We're going to access Moxi Impress today. Here we are at your home dashboard when you first log in. And again, as always, since I don't have any listings myself, I'm masquerading or impersonating an agent today. Today we're using Marcia Casanova. She's one of our agents in the Fresno office. So you can see that she has 2 pending listings showing up on her projects, and she also has 2 closed listings. Now remember, we went through and added individual projects last week. I showed you how to create a single social media graphic for an open house. This time we're going to add a batch. Now, in theory, Moxi Impress should add batches of content anytime that there is an event with your listing. So anytime you have an open house, or if you have a price reduction, or if it goes into escrow, it should add a batch of content for each of those things. So that's social media graphics, brochures, flyers, the whole bag. But if for some reason it doesn't, and you want to create that batch of content yourself, you can absolutely do that, and it's actually pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of Marcia's closed listings. So if you take a look at her projects right here, the 11 projects that she has available are all of the just listed ones. And for some reason, it didn't generate all of those just sold listings and things like that for when the listing closes. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. You can see we just have our 11 here, so there's not multiple pages. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the home button. And I'm going to click on Manage. So we were just in View Projects, so I could show you the ones that were already created. I'm going to click on this one right here, Manage. So Manage is going to take us to this next screen here, where we can view the projects that we already have, which we did, create a single project, which we did last week. But what we're going to do is create a marketing kit. So we're going to click on Create Marketing Kit. Now they have all of these pre-selected kits for you that have different numbers of marketing items. So they can have social media graphics, they can have flyers, they can have e-postcards, they can have just sold postcards and those types of things. So we're going to find the kit that we're looking for. Now in theory, as I mentioned, these kits should automatically be created when there's an event with your listing, but we can force create these kits just as easily. So I see that there's a Just Sold Collection 1 here with 4 marketing items. And there's a Just Sold Collection down here with another 4 marketing items. So I'm just going to pick one because I'm not sure which one's which. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one and pull that listing from the data source for that closed listing. Here we go. So now this dumps those projects into the projects that we already had created. So before we had 11, now we have those extra 4 things here that are popped up on top of the ones that we had for the just listed. So you can see it had the 2 e-postcards, it has a jumbo postcard, and it has a social media link. So at this point, we could pop in if we wanted to send out just sold postcards in radius around the listing to let the neighbors know that the house just sold recently. So if we click on that project, you can see what's automatically generated, and then we can go through the same process to edit the text and things like that. So you can see here what the front of the postcard would look like. It says just sold with the address, and then it has Marcia's contact information and a little blurb right here. Remember, it does automatically pull photos in the listing that they appear in the MLS. So if you have a few pictures of the front of the house, those are the first ones it's going to pull. So it's a situation like that where, of course, we would go in and click Edit. And we would edit the photos that were available there. If you want to switch the project name here, you can. You absolutely don't have to if you don't want to. So again, it pulls automatically default the front of the house. So we would click on this Replace button to replace from the project photos, probably some, because the interior of the house is absolutely lovely. So we could certainly select any of these interior ones. The kitchen is always a win. So I'm going to select that one for there. And then I'll swap out this one in the project photos for maybe the backyard, however you like to present it if there's a nice feature about the property. I'm going to click Save and Continue. We can have just sold. We can just write with 6 characters as your limit here. You can't really cite just sold in your neighborhood because there's not enough characters, but you can write whatever text you want here, along with the city address here, or the home address here. This is that little blurb that's on the back. So you can edit this text. This is automatically generated text. If you don't love this, you can absolutely change any bit of this. And again, it shows up here on the back of the postcard. And then here we're going to add her title here. And of course, because we live in California, you always have to add your license number. It's a rule. So I'm going to go ahead and add Marsha's license number in here and click Save and Continue. So now I'm going to click on Preview so you can see what this would look like. So this would be, see, we still have the front of house, kitchen, the backyard with Marsha's contact information and now license number in there. So at this point, you could go and print this out through Express Docs because Moxi Impress does link directly with Express Docs. So if you click on this button, it'll take you through Express Docs and sending out 100 postcards in a radius around the property. You never have to touch a postcard yourself, which is a lovely option. If you wanted to print it out yourself, if you wanted to use some sort of online other distributor where it sends you the postcards and you can go and door knock and hand out postcards, you would click print it yourself and it'll let you download the image file for that postcard. So you could print it at a secondary location if you wanted to. If you wanted just to send the image of the postcard to your clients so you could show them what you're doing, you could download the image here. So those are how you create batches of content for an event with your listing. Thanks for joining us.